Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. I'm going to talk about the X-Men, and she's not really super familiar with the X-Men comics, so I think she would be bored by this video, but we're going to talk about Beau DeMayo, who was the showrunner of X-Men 97, tearing into Kevin Feige and Marvel, saying they really have no concept of how to handle the X-Men. We have a lot of people working at Marvel Studios right now that don't even read the comic books. That's very obvious, very, very obvious. And that, yeah, basically the handling of the X-Men is going to be a complete shit show, and don't expect the MCU version of the X-Men to be any better than the Fox version. So this is, like, look, we're going to talk about this. He does have an axe to grind with Kevin Feige, as does Rob Liefeld. They don't like Kevin Feige. And that being said, though, I think there's valid reasons for that. Now, Beau DeMayo, regardless of why he got terminated, I think my personal feeling now in the last couple of months has been that they found a reason to get rid of him because he was a squeaky wheel and he didn't know his place, right? I think just kind of like what happened with The Witcher, too, where, this is a guy who was a fan of that material, and he's like, look, this is what the fans are going to want. This is what the expectations are. And he tried to give it to him, and then he got shot down by a bunch of people who thought they knew better than he did. Now, we could talk about, his pictures or whatever the hell, it's kind of weird. Like, I follow him on Twitter, and it's like 50-50 Marvel gossip and, I don't know what they call it, like six-pack shots. I don't know, because he's always like taking pictures of himself, like flexing and stuff. Whatever. I don't care. What I do care about is the X-Men, and the X-Men is just such a waste right now at Marvel. Like, they literally do not know what to do with these characters. And the best X-Men anything we've had in over a decade. I guess, you could consider Deadpool and Wolverine, but it was more like a cameo fest. But the best X-Men anything we've had was X-Men 97. It was good. It was legitimately good. I did a review on it. I got a lot of pushback for that. People like, it can't be good. It's Disney. It's whatever. Very, very clearly, it was made very clear early on that Beau DeMayo cared immensely about the X-Men and the X-Men comics and the legacy of the X-Men, because that series was good eaten, right? And I don't think the follow-up's going to be any good, because it sounds like they're going to pull the plug on some of the things he set up, specifically Age of Apocalypse and I think Cyclops and Phoenix, those miniseries. Very clearly they were going to go in that direction, and I think they're going to pivot with the new showrunners, and I just don't have any interest at this point, especially with all the drama around it. Like, I don't really have any interest. But we're going to talk about this and talk about the dirt behind the scenes. Apparently, he's alleging that Kevin Feige was actually kind of jealous of X-Men 97, because it put a huge spotlight on live action Marvel, because that show is so well received by a lot of X-Men fans, and much better received than most of what Marvel had been putting out on Disney Plus, and it made them look bad. That's Beau DeMayo saying that. Is there truth to that? Yeah, probably, because I'm looking at that like, I'm like, dude, if you did this in live action with the X-Men in a movie with the right cast, you'd be fine. You'd be making $1 billion a movie again, right? And they just don't know what they're doing. So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Again, if you missed out, you got a couple days yet to back the Orcs Are A-Holes pin campaign. We actually did do this on BackerKit about a month ago, and then we're doing a second chance offer on Kickstarter. We had people tell us they don't like BackerKit. I'm going to be honest, they don't like BackerKit very much. I'm having a hard time using it. I know people are like, why are we getting duplicate emails and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out how it works. So I apologize for that, but Kickstarter has a lot of those tools built in. Now, we will be doing another campaign for Geeky's pins. Probably next week she's going to do Halloween glow-in-the-dark pins that she designed, like retro Halloween pins. So we're going to do those next week, and they should be out to you before Halloween, obviously. So we have to flip that one pretty quick. But yeah, check it out, badorcs.com. We've got the prototypes in. They look great. I mean, these are like Disney theme park caliber pins. They're very nice pins. They're hard enamel. It's not the, sunken in. Good stuff, guys. Check it out. So yeah, Bo DeMeo is going off on a tear on the MCU again. Let's go out to, let's see here. We'll go out to Cosmic Book News, and then we'll see what Complex, and everybody's covering this. This isn't just like a right-wing thing. This is like everybody's covering this. X-Men 97 creator has no faith in the MCU. X-Men plans blast Ms. Marvel. Actually, the girl that plays Ms. Marvel, I think she's all right. She seems like she's pretty okay. But making Ms. Marvel a mutant and making her kind of it seems like the direction they're going is they want to make her the face of the mutants when I know she was supposed to be a mutant, but she wasn't actually a mutant in the comics. Now I think she is because they killed her. I don't know what's going on. She's supposed to be an Inhuman, right? Former X-Men 97 showrunner Bo DeMeo says he has no faith, at least for now, in Marvel Studios' upcoming mutant saga, citing poor planning, ego-driven decisions, and a lack of respect for the X-Men. In a lengthy Twitter posts, DeMeo broke down why he doesn't trust the MCU's approach to the X-Men, pointing to missed opportunities, questionable introductions, and recycled Fox-era characters. Feige's X-Men and New Age of Mutants starts after Secret Wars. The Fox Marvel Legacy X-Men characters are also returning in Doomsday. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have thoughts on this. I understand what they're trying to do. They're probably going to hit the reset button on Marvel, but Fantastic Four didn't do very well. I liked Fantastic Four. I did, but it didn't do very well. And I don't think an X-Men reboot, I don't think it's going to do very well. Not with the current regime. Not yet, no. DeMeo says fans ask whether he believes Marvel can deliver a proper X-Men reboot. Do I have faith in the mutant saga? No. He explained that telling great X-Men stories requires deep planning, careful rollout, and respect for canon, something he hasn't seen from Feige's leadership. We're not seeing it from Marvel's leadership either. We're not seeing it from Marvel Comics either. Like, the X-Men is money in the bank, and I remember listening to, I know Rob Liefeld's been on a tear against Feige too, but I remember listening to a podcast where he's like, Marvel is leaving so much money on the table with the X-Men, it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous how much money they're leaving on the table because they're not doing it right. The X-Men should be one of the highest selling comics month after month after month. It should be raking in all kinds of money. X-Men should be getting more buzz, more positive buzz than Absolute Batman. And it's because it was the biggest thing. I mean, X-Men was the biggest comic for years. And it's sad. It's sad to see the state that it's in right now. They have people in charge of X-Men on the comic book side too that don't know what the hell they're doing. He said you need to suppress your ego to make it your own and focus on meeting the mutants on their terms, deeply respecting the canon, and the emotional investment that fans have. Again, I got that feeling from Bo DeMeo watching X-Men 97. I was kind of skeptical, but I watched it. I'm like, he gets it. He totally gets it. He gets these characters. He gets the history of the characters. He's not trying to change the characters all that much. I think they changed the characters to align with the cartoon because the cartoon continuity obviously was different than the comic book continuity, but the essence of the characters was there 100%. Actually, I would say X-Men 97 felt more like the comics than the previous X-Men Fox series. That they were more like their comic book iterations, and I love that. I thought it was great. Criticizing the MCU's mutant teases, DeMeo took aim at how the MCU has introduced mutants so far. Our first intro into the X-Men in the MCU is a YA retcon that Kevin forced onto the franchise to make it his own. He called it a fuck you to fans, literally, and ego-driven, saying a better choice would have been to debut Jubilee. Yeah, but that'd be Ms. Marvel, right? For decades, X-Men fans have waited for teenage mutants like Jubilee and Kitty Pryde to get their justice and due in film. Kevin knows this, but just like Fox shoved a teenage retcon rogue down our throats, yeah, that was a poor choice, I think. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't comic book rogue. Kevin and Marvel are shocked. They're shocked that Kamala Khan shoving her down our throats when far more interesting mutants would do. It's a fuck you to fans. And having been in the room with these guys is absolutely all ego. Even having a newly cast Jubilee show up at the end of Ms. Marvel to recruit her would have been better than an instantly forgettable tag we got. Doctor Strange 2 cameo. He said the weird nostalgia cameo of Professor X in Doctor Strange 2 that used the animated series Sting, where Kevin thought it'd be fresh and cool to see the revered leader and activist killed, brutally murdered again. Yeah, they already killed that version of Professor X. The Monica Rambeau meeting Beast scene from the worst X-Men movie ever made with no story connection, which he compared unfavorably to Phase 1's Avengers tags. Deadpool and Wolverine reliance to tell a fan-pandering story of Reddit wishlist. That actually is not untrue. Like, I liked Deadpool and Wolverine. I did. It was fun. I don't know if I'd watch it again, though. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I would watch it again. It really did feel like a fan film or like a what if comic. It didn't feel like a proper movie. It was just like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to see all these characters and get to see Wolverine in his yellow and blue costume? Wouldn't that be cool, guys? Don't you think that'd be really cool? Yeah. Adamantium plot in Captain America 4. It was a contrived MacGuffin, he called it. Recycling old Fox characters. Bringing back for Doomsday. No room for ego. DeMeo accused Feige and his parliament of undermining X-Men 97's success because fans saw it as a model for fixing the MCU. I did. I'm like, all you got to do is make that live action. Make that shit live action. Just that team even. Like that version of the X-Men. Honestly, we don't even need an origin. We don't need another X-Men origin story. Let's just drop the X-Men into a situation. Give us the classic team, either the 80s lineup, one of many 80s lineup, or the 90s lineup. I would say probably the Jim Lee lineup is probably the lineup most people think of. Let's just drop people into the X-Men. We've got these mutants. They've got these kick-ass powers. Here's a situation, and let the audience catch up. We've already had the origin, right? We don't need to, we could have a callback or whatever to, once upon a time, Charles and Eric used to be friends, and now they're not, and they play chess, and da-da-da-da. Well, whatever. Just let's, giant robots, sentinels, aliens, brood, that'd be pretty cool. Just blow shit up, and that'd be awesome. I think it'd be really cool. And then get those character moments in there. But yeah, they're not going to do that. I was told Kevin resented my work on the show because the fans were using it as a referendum on how the MCU is failing. Yeah. Well, that's entirely true. It's entirely true. He said Marvel even censored crew members from praising his leadership and stopped an IGN interview for giving me too much credit. All this ego, and the X-Men have no room for ego. Their legacy and the investment so many of us made into what it is now is the priority, not making your mark. And I got that. It wasn't like Bo DeMeo's fresh take on the X-Men. I mean, honestly, if I have a criticism of X-Men 97, it was that it tried to shoehorn in a lot of the comic storylines, like all into one arc. Like, we're going to take like 5 different storylines and cram them into one arc. But again, as somebody who read the X-Men in the 80s and 90s, I fucking loved it. I was like, you get it. This guy gets it. And my first thought after watching it, I sat there and I'm like, why can't they put this guy in charge of the X-Men movies? Just put him in charge of the movies. And they're not going to do that. Instead, they're like, no, Kamala Khan's got a mutant now and everything's about her. He said, despite the criticism, he's open to being proven wrong, but only through story, not PR. So I'm going to actually talk about the comics, the themes, doing right by them. I was reading his Twitter bender. And he said that, and I think it was Victoria Alonso. I don't think he name checked her, but I think he was talking about how one of the female executives, that narrows it, was so busy she couldn't be bothered to actually read the comics. So, so it was like, okay, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. You can't be bothered to read the comics. It's like they're 22-page comics, just, but you get that vibe. You get that vibe from the MCU. That they don't want to do the homework. You get that vibe from Star Wars too. They don't want to do the homework. So their solution is like, oh man, there's decades of history. I don't want to spend the next, 2 months reading all these comics, 8 hours a day or whatever. Cause that's such a chore to get paid to read comics, for 8 to 10 hours every day. But you get the vibe that they're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the basics of the character that I kind of sort of know, and I'm just going to do my own thing with it. And the same with the comic book writers now. I'm not going to go back and, look at canon and look at, what this character did in 1988 or didn't do or whatever. I'm just going to make shit up and I'm going to write this character the way I want to write him because I see myself in this character. And then the character is completely out of character. And then the fans who've been following that character for decades call these people out. And then they get all pissed off on social media, like, you're a bigot and a Nazi because you don't like gay clubbing Nightcrawler, or gay Bobby Drake. It's like, yeah, right? Like, no, you tell me you never read the comics. So there's no talk of the actual heroes of the characters. Kevin and his brood are just Star fucking at this point. Wow. Yeah. I don't mean to be a hater who looks at this and says this is the care and respect that these characters deserve. Who looks at this and says this is competent leadership from a studio. There's no way alarming. Yeah. It's ridiculous. How the X-Men have been handled. And it's not just the media. It's actually, I would say the comics is more egregious than the comics. They don't give a shit about the X-Men in the comics, clearly. Why should they give a shit about the X-Men in other media? I mean, the best representation of the X-Men outside of X-Men 97 in recent years is fucking Marvel Rivals. Okay, I mean, come on. You could do better than that. So there we go, guys. Again, that's a long post, dude. That is a long post. Both Bo DeMayo and Rob Liefeld do have a beef with Marvel, but I think rightfully so, because they've seen better days. They know that Marvel is capable of doing better. They participated in Marvel doing better, and now they're watching them. I mean, at this point, you're pissing billions. Disney, listen to me. Yeah, I know you don't wanna, but listen to me. You're pissing billions of dollars down the drain by letting people ruin the X-Men, even in the comics, because the X-Men brand has been devalued completely. It should be right up there with Batman, and it is not. It should be bigger than Batman. In the 90s, all the X-Men books were huge. Even the shitty ones, even the ones, I can't say they're shitty, but even the ones that, didn't have as big of a readership, like X Factor, which I fucking loved, R.I.P. Peter David, loved that run. But they were all huge. The X-Men, literally the biggest thing in comics. Like Batman was at the movie theater, whatever. And Batman was big. But to get the attention that the X-Men had, they had to break Batman's back and kill Superman and then split him into two. The X-Men were huge, and they can be huge again. You just need the right people to take care of them. And I would honestly erase the last decade of X-Men stories. Just be like, you know what? That never happened. Yeah, we're just going to hand wave it. Never happened. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Attention, stupid humans. Warlords are evil, just like Gary Gygax and Professor Tolkien warned you. Series 1 of these orc enamel pins are on Kickstarter again for a very limited time. Pick your clan, join the Horde, and cause some mayhem. Go to badorks.com. That's badorks.com.